Doesn't waking up after Baltimore Ravens win the previous day make your morning that much sweeter? And just it really starts off your week that much better. You're in a much better mood. You're all happy and stuff. But what if you're waking up to the Baltimore Ravens not only winning, but the Pittsburgh Steelers losing? Thank you, Philly. We appreciate y'all. Even though y'all did us nasty a couple weeks ago, we still appreciate what y'all did for us in the Pittsburgh Steelers, because this got the division race that much tighter. Team Keep It Clean, we got a lot to talk about with the Baltimore Ravens playoff, and we are going to get into it shortly. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. Let's get to 80K. We are climbing, getting closer and closer, but also leave a like on the video because it helps out the channel a lot. Team Keep It Clean, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for supporting the way that y'all do literally every single day. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the Baltimore Ravens, of course, took care of the Giants in yesterday's game. They dismantled the Giants in yesterday's game, and while we were very, very happy about it, it was what it was expected. The Giants are not a good football team. They are a very, very bad football team, but the Ravens did exactly what they had to do, and we were very, very happy about it and appreciative about it. But it didn't stop there, because our game was at 1 o'clock, but the Steelers and the Eagles game, that was at 4:30. So after we got to watch our game, we got to chill, we got to be stress-free football. We actually had to have a little bit of stress involved in this Philadelphia and Pittsburgh game, because it's like, man, we really want the Steelers to lose this game, because this was help the Ravens out a lot when it comes to chasing that division. And what happened? Philly came through. They end up beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that helped the Baltimore Ravens out a lot, because while next week's game, well, actually this week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was already important regardless of what the Steelers record was at the time, regardless of what the Ravens record was at the time. This game was important simply because Lamar Jackson as the starter just has not beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in like what seems like forever. And it just needed to happen regardless. But now the stakes are that much higher since Steelers lost yesterday. Let's read what they are. So the Ravens, they can actually clinch a playoff berth. So we at that time of the season where it's 3 games left and Ravens can actually clinch a playoff berth. That's a beautiful thing just to even hear that that's a possibility going into this weekend, that we can punch our ticket in just with these scenarios. So the Ravens can clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Steelers on Saturday. So you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this Saturday, you're in. You're in the playoffs. That's all you got to do is beat the Steelers this Saturday. Now, that's easier said than done, but all you got to do is beat the Steelers this Saturday. You're a playoff team. Boom. Just like that. But there's another scenario too. Or losses by the Colts and Dolphins on Sunday. The Colts play host to the Titans and the Dolphins play the 49ers. That would also get the Baltimore Ravens in. So, yeah, we're going to root for those teams to lose, but I don't want to be worried about none of that. I don't want to have to even care about none of that, because we want the Baltimore Ravens to get their own job done. And that's something that we always appreciate when Ravens do, when they control their own destiny. Remember last year, they controlled everything with their own destiny, and then they did get some help with some other teams losing for them to really lock up that #1 seed, and they took care of business. So we want the Baltimore Ravens. They ain't getting no #1 seed this year, obviously, but the Baltimore Ravens, they control what happens with them. Now, big news for this Steelers game, because Steelers I didn't even say arguably their best player, but their best player, TJ Watt. It's a very, very big possibility that he may not play in this game. Obviously, we hope that TJ Watt is healthy. We hope that his ankle sprain ends up getting healed up. But he does have a low ankle sprain per Mike Tomlin. So his status for this week, we'll see, because we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with him. If it was me, I would probably figure that he would not play. But again, we'll see. We won't know till we know, because he did sustain a low ankle injury in yesterday's game on Sunday. So to play 6 days later, I don't think he's going to play. But again, it's TJ Watt. He's not human, so we'll see what goes down. But as we know, us as Ravens fans, we got plenty of experience with it. We know TJ Watt is a game wrecker. He is a very dominant edge rusher, and depending on who you are, you may rank him as the best edge rusher in the league. And if he's not the top, then he's definitely top 3 at minimum, because you got, of course, Myles Garrett, you got Max Crosby. So you could do any, many, miny, mo with those 3, because all of them are like that. I can't wait till we can have one of those guys, one of those dominant edge rushers, but that's another conversation for another day. But TJ Watt is like that. So for him to possibly not play in this Baltimore Ravens Steelers game, That would be very, very big and impactful. Now, we talked about the Baltimore Ravens playoff chances, of course, but what about their chances for not only the playoffs, but to win the division? Because that is on the line this coming Saturday as well. So, with the Baltimore Ravens, if they win, then the Ravens would pull into a first-place tie with the Steelers with 2 weeks remaining. So, if the Baltimore Ravens win, the division is not theirs with a win, but they pull into a tie with the Steelers. So they'll both be tied at first place in the AFC North. But how could the Baltimore Ravens possibly win the division? Well, let's go over it. So the Ravens path to the AFC North. If they win against the Steelers, and the Ravens must have one more win than the Steelers over the last 2 weeks. So if they win against the Steelers, then that would put them both at 10-5. They would have the same record. So then Ravens would need to, they could win out, and the Steelers could lose one of the last two. Now, the Steelers, big implications here because so much happened yesterday that could change everything. The Steelers, they getting ready to play, after the Ravens, they're getting ready to play the Chiefs. But Patrick Mahomes, he got a lower ankle injury. So he's questionable moving forward. So who knows if he even plays when the Steelers play the Chiefs in a couple weeks. We'll see. We'll see, because that's the same day that the Ravens, that they play the Texans. So it's so much that could happen. But anyway, Ravens must have one more win over the Steelers than over the last 2 weeks. And if both win out, so if the Ravens beat the Steelers this week and the Ravens win out and then the Steelers win out after that, then it will go to Pittsburgh over tiebreakers. So Ravens, just biggest thing right now, beat the Steelers on Saturday. And again, like I said earlier, easier said than done, but that is how the Baltimore Ravens can punch their ticket into the playoffs, but then that also gives them life in the AFC North as well. Now, with the AFC North, you cannot control your own destiny with that. You can to an extent, but you still need help because you still need Steelers to lose one of the last 2 games after Saturdays if you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Saturday, but control what you can control, get in the playoffs, and then after that, we'll see what happens. Now we reached my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send me an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send it directly in a DM on Patreon. If you would like to join the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids, or if you want to send it in a different way, you can send it directly to our P.O. Box. The address is down below in the description, as are a lot of different ways if you want to support the channel just a little bit extra. Got to give a special shout out to somebody supporting the channel just a bit extra. It is my guy Dexter. Dexter became a Team Keep It Clean patron a couple days ago. So Dexter, we appreciate you. I wish you would have sent in a question to start us off, but it's okay. But I love you. Thank you for supporting the channel like you do. Thank you for all of y'all, man. Channel members, Team Keep It Clean patrons, and just really everybody, man. Again, make sure you subscribe to that. Let's get to 80K, man. Let's have that 80K show up real soon. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. But without further ado, let's get into these questions. First question came from Crystal. Crystal, I ain't heard from you in a little while, but how you doing? Hope everything is good. She said, "Hey, Ingraven, how's the family?" The family is really good. I appreciate you. She said, "I'm not happy with the penalties. Ravens will not win games or score points against real good teams with these penalties." Yeah, Ravens got to clean up the penalties. They really do. Even with the questionable penalties and whatnot, try not to even give the refs a chance with those. But I know sometimes it's some ticky-tacky stuff that Ravens really can't control like that. Sometimes it's bad calls, but a lot of times it can be good calls too. It could be legitimate calls too. So Ravens really got to get that cleaned up. She said, sometimes I think they commit these penalties just so that they don't look bad if someone beats them or scores a touchdown against them. I wouldn't say all that now. She said, "I have a hard time believing they will make it to the Super Bowl, let alone win one. What are your thoughts on this? Thank you for the videos. I love Team Keep It Clean. No cursing. Keep up the good work." Hey, I appreciate you, Crystal. Thank you. They will still make it to the Super Bowl and win it. But yeah, the penalties are a big issue. And like we talked about when it comes to the playoffs, control what you can control. And with the Baltimore Ravens, with the penalties that they can't control, they need to get them under control. Next question, or I guess it's a comment, came from my guy Jay. He said, "Hey, Team Keep It Clean fam, this isn't really a question, just something I wanted to say. During the middle of the game, I usually don't watch the live broadcast. I usually check in on commercials. Always watch every post, you already know, but when I was watching early, I caught a very upsetting message from Rashad Thompson. It broke my heart. I had to stop literally what I was doing and say a prayer. Once the game had started, I had no idea what was going on because I saw a fellow human hurting. I'm so sorry for what you're going through, Mr. Thompson, and just know that you have a family here. I know it's not technically my family, but it's part of the team. Keep it clean family, and if you ever need anything, we're always here for you. Yeah, Rashad, you already know, man. For those of y'all that were in the live stream yesterday, then y'all know. If you weren't, then our guy Rashad Thompson, he had came through to the live stream, and he just said he just needed some support because he had, unfortunately, he said he lost a 7-year-old to gun violence, and that was just, I hate stuff like that, man. It's tough, man. It sucks. Just hate that anybody would have to go through something like that. It's super unfortunate. It's super sad, and nobody deserves that. But just know that it won't be like this forever. The way that this world is, the system is just temporary, man. It's just temporary, and I promise you, guarantee it will not be like this forever. Revelations 21:3-4, my friend. But Jay also said, if I feel like everybody else in here, we want to say thank you for giving us all a place to make this a family. You say you don't do anything, you do. Does this finally prove to you that you do? Because you do, and we all thank you. Keep on rocking, keep your heads up, and keep moving forward. God bless you all. I appreciate you, Jay. I appreciate you. We appreciate Rashad for sharing that. But and that is something that is important for this channel, because of course we talk about the Ravens. We talk about the Ravens all the time. We could do that all day, every day, as y'all know. But this channel is also to be an outlet for people, an outlet for. And we were just talking about this when we were on with Coach the other day, that one of my biggest goals when we first started was for however long a video is, if it's 5 minutes, if it's 10 minutes, if it's 15, however long it is, for people to just have a break, because people deal with so many issues on a daily basis. They face so many real life problems, but the big goal of the channel was to provide people with a break, a little getaway from whatever issues they facing, so they could just talk some football for a little bit, take their minds off whatever it is that they're going through for a little bit. To just give them a sense of happiness, because again, we don't take ourselves too seriously on here. We don't try to take nothing too seriously on here, but just to provide people a break, a positive break, so they could just, again, feel better for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because you never know what type of impact you could have on somebody. And really, for y'all, I would say y'all don't know what type of impact y'all have on me in a very, very big positive way, man. Y'all are real deal, man. Y'all have just done so much, man. Seriously. So that's why I know y'all probably get tired of hearing me say that. I appreciate y'all supporting, but I really, really do, because y'all have just changed so much for me in a positive way. Y'all just help out a lot, man. Y'all, and just the comments like these, the questions, just everything that y'all do, just to support, it means the world, man. So the fact that we could all, as Team Keep It Clean, as a family, we could come through for our guy Rashad, who is dealing with something just unimaginable, man. That means everything to me. Next question came from my guy Michael. He said, hey, how you doing? This is Michael. I don't really write in like that, but I do watch all your stuff all the time. I appreciate you, Mike. He said, you're one of, if not the number one person I watch when I'm on my way to work, or when I'm just doing the dishes, or whatever I'm doing. And I want to give you your kudos and your flowers too, because you're definitely doing your thing. Hey, appreciate that, Mike. I appreciate you doing that, man. He said, but my question is, comment is, I kind of got a feeling of what will fix the Ravens, and for me personally, I would like to go to the offense. I believe that Zay Flowers is a number one receiver. I believe that he answers what we have been missing. We had Hollywood, but then we lost him, but now we got Zay, and I believe we need to hold on to him for dear life. And I believe as long as we got Zay Flowers and have Lamar, and we keep our tight end room, I believe anything is possible. Oh, it certainly is. I think the Ravens should add to that a big body type of wide receiver, but hey, they may jump. Well, we're going to talk about that later. Anyway, he said, I don't believe that we can keep Derrick Henry. We might be able to sign him for another 2 years, maybe 3 years extension, maybe, but he already was expensive. We got him for a bargain. Yeah, Derrick Henry wasn't expensive for the Ravens. He used to be expensive, but he ain't expensive for the Ravens no more. Next year, they signed him to a 2-year deal. Next year, he ain't really got no guarantees in his deal, so I can see the Ravens reworking something to where it's like a 1 or 2 year extension. They ain't gonna keep him long term, but Derrick Henry still got it, obviously. He said, I don't think that will happen again, and the Ravens is a cheap team when it comes to signing offensive players. Signing free agent offensive players, yes, but they do retain a lot of their own, because you look at guys like Lamar Lamar took everything to get him that deal, but Look at Lamar Jackson. You look at Mark Andrews. He's getting paid. You look at Ronnie Stanley. He's getting paid. They jumped out of there for Odell Beckham Jr. That was surprising. That was like a one-off. That was an anomaly. But anyway, he said, but the reality of it, but after that, I believe he's going to retire. But also how we play our players in games, not really staying with the same person in the game for an X amount of snaps and staying with that player in the game, especially when he gets hot, and don't pull him out for stupid reasons. Instead, we rotate guys throughout the game, I believe is a good and bad thing. Yeah, because it keeps guys fresher, but at the same time, it can take people out of a rhythm. So, yeah. He said it's good because it keeps the... I should have just kept reading. He said it's good because it keeps the players fresh, and it still keeps their bodies fresh, but it's bad for multiple different reasons, but I'm just going to say it. I hate Bateman, and I don't believe that Aguilar is the answer, and we definitely need to cut or trade both of them. Now, mind you, he sent this before the game. So, I wonder if his feelings... I wonder if your feelings changed, Mike, after the game with how Bateman did. Anyway, he said, I believe that Bateman is overrated. Both of them got butterfingers. I believe we need to find 2 other speedy dogs of wide receivers. So look at yesterday. Now, I have said, and I continue to say, like, all receivers do have issues with drops, but you give them that credit when they make the plays. Because they make the plays more times than not, but the drop's going to happen. If you get a lot of targets, the drops are going to happen. But you got to get them that credit for yesterday's game, too. So, anyway, he said, we already got Zay. Now we need to find reliable dogs and speedy wide receivers. And I believe that, yes, they're out there, but we had to be aggressive and get them. EDC is too laid back. And if you ask me when it comes to signing what we need and getting what we need when it comes to offense, when he first got started, when he was a GM, he was aggressive, but now he's laid back. I wouldn't say he's laid back. He tried to trade for Marshawn Lattimore. He traded for Deontay Johnson. While that was a super chill move because it was very, very low risk, he still did it. So I wouldn't say that's laid back. Cause if it was laid back, he just would have done nothing. But could EDC do better? Yes, I do think EDC could do better. But is he laid back? No, I don't think so. He said, if you ask me, and we need that aggressive side to come back, and definitely we need a pass rusher. We need a Nick Bosa or Von Miller type of pass rusher. Basically, we need a Terrell Suggs to come back, and also Roquan needs to wake up and get back to the Roquan that he was when he had Roquan and Patrick Queen both on the same team, because it's like once we lost Queen, he was not the same. And we ain't getting Queen back. So Queen was a big part of Roquan's success. A lot of people, they don't want to say it, but he was. He made Roquan Smith's job easier. They both made each other's job easier, but they were like a perfect 1-2 punch. Anyway, he said, we knew and grew to love Roquan, and like how you going to have Ray Lewis teach you the basics and how to be a great linebacker, but then you're still being a mediocre one? I don't get it. Oh, my goodness, he was just going in. He said, I believe that the backfield definitely fixed what was wrong from earlier this year, but I do believe they need to move on from Humphrey, and they need to press the reset button. I believe they need to keep Tre'Davious White, and they need to get a corner and a safety where there was a free safety or strong safety that got hands. People are nervous to throw to that side of the field. Man, Marlon Humphrey's been playing really good this year. Yeah, he had his hiccups here and there, but a cornerback, you ain't going to be locked down like 24/7. You're going to give us some catches here and there, but Marlon Humphrey's been playing really good. He said, we need an Ed Reed type of caliber player. Those don't exist, my friend. It's like not fair. He said we haven't had that since Ed Reed, and that's definitely got to change. Kyle Hamilton is good, don't get me wrong, but he got butterfingers too. He's more of a Justin Jefferson type. What do you mean with that? I don't understand that. He just hits hard and he's good in coverage, but can he get the ball? Can he get that interception that we need when that ball is near him? And the verdict is still out on that. And he's been here for 3 years now, whatever, but it's not it. We need to keep him, but we need to add more, and we need to beef up our defensive line as well as our offensive line, because unfortunately, ever since he got his contract, he has not been the same. Oh, you're talking about Nnamdi Madubuike. Yeah, you ain't put his name, but I'm assuming you're talking about Nnamdi Madubuike. He said he has not been the same, and we need somebody on the left side and the right side that people are nervous and that goes for the offensive line as well. But sorry for the long rant, but sorry to say, but because of these problems, because of these views, we're not going to the Super Bowl this year. It's nice to say, but I'm a realist, and the reality is the reality, and these things are things that definitely got to get fixed. Look forward to your review. So, like I said, but throughout, there's some stuff that I agree with, some stuff I got to give you a big time pushback on, and we talked about it already. Now, when you talked about we need an edge guy, I do agree with that. I do think Ravens need a more dominant edge guy, and obviously that wouldn't be able to happen until sometime next year, because this year the roster is who the roster is. When you said the Ravens need to move on from Marlon Humphrey and just keep Trey White, no. Ravens, Marlon Humphrey is just fine. Kyle Hamilton, he's really, really good too. Did he have a drop pick? Does he have drop picks? Yeah, he plays defense though. Yeah, we would love if the Ravens caught every single interception that ever happened. We would love that, but that's simply just not how it goes. Sometimes it could be just a straight up drop pick. Sometimes the ball could come out of nowhere, like a wide receiver could drop it, and they may not have been anticipating the ball coming their way, and they try to catch it and they drop it. Stuff happens. Sometimes, like the game in yesterday's game with Marlon Humphrey and Ardarius Washington. Marlon Humphrey had the pick, but he sort of ran into Ardarius Washington. Ardarius Washington tried to catch him. Marlon Humphrey tried to catch it. They both dropped it. Stuff happens. That's why they play defense and not offense. But sometimes on offense they have what a wide receiver do. But at least they make way more plays than they miss. So again, like I always say, that's what it comes to when it's a wide receiver. Even if they got little drops here and there, at least they make more plays than they miss. So with the Baltimore Ravens, yeah, they do need to upgrade the offensive line next year. The defensive line can use some upgrades, and they can use a lot of upgrades for sure. Offense and defensive line, I think the most, because those impact everything behind them as far as the offensive line, and behind them with the defensive line too. But they are going to win a Super Bowl this year, though. That's one thing I will continue to say. They are going to win a Super Bowl this year in spite of any of their issues and deficiencies, because come playoff time, a lot of that's going to change, man. You've seen a lot of it changing now. But I think one of the biggest things that's really going to go off, and it's going to go on to have a Flacco-type playoff. I already said Brandon Stevens is going to have him a Flacco-type playoff run this season. But that offensive line, they will as well.